Well, I think for me, Dracula, since I was young, since seeing Lugosi many years ago on Channel 9 in New York when I was a young kid, just mesmerized by the character. And seeing Christopher Lee and all the other different actors to essay the role, I mean, that's just a character that's always stuck with me. And it's to have the opportunity to be able to help produce my own Dracula is just, I couldn't pass that opportunity up.
So, travel log, so to speak, courtesy of Mr. Steve Heron, who is a very, very dear friend, and also director of photography on the brand new project. On the road right now in New York State, heading to Utica, New York, to meet Bill Bossert. Bill Bossert is a listener to the Horror Center podcast, which is a program that I co-host, who contacted me with the interest towards pursuing a film project. Lo and behold, to make a long story short, that project is happening now. Bill and I are co-producing a very faithful adaptation of Bram Stoker's Dracula called Terror of Dracula, tentatively. And here we are again. It's literally a week and a half after the world premiere screening of Sherlock Holmes and the Shadow Watchers. And we're already moving on to the next project. So I've never actually met Bill in person before. I've met him, we chat regularly on the phone, production ideas. We've hammered out a script together, and we're eager to get shooting within the next few months. Certainly more on that to follow. And this is the first meeting. I gotta say that I'm a little bit nervous putting a face to a voice to a name, and also to meet somebody with whom I'm going to be working very closely for the next year or so of my life, because this project is going to consume me for the next year or so. It's a much longer script than Sherlock Holmes and the Shadow Watchers, and it's probably the project that I've always wanted to do as well. Since I was a kid, I've always wanted to do a faithful version of Dracula. And Bill wrote and he said, what do you want to do next? And I said, this is it. And he said, yeah, well, I can help fund that. So this is really, really exciting. Heading down to Utica with Steve, director of photography, in tow. And we're going to document this entire process, not just this meeting here. It's going to be a brainstorming session, reading through the script, talking about the production. But we're going to keep a log of the entire production from beginning through to the end, just as we did with Sherlock Holmes and the Shadow Watchers. And this video is going to go up on the website, newdraculamovie.com. Keep checking it out. This is going to be exciting. This is a brand new foray into a new project. So life is looking really good right now. It's going to get really stressful very soon. But I like that.
Downtown Utica. You're being beat. Are you being beat?
It was, yeah. I was being beat.
You're being beat.
I actually think that's an international incident. I could be wrong.
Could be.
But
there could be a hotel.
Indeed. So I wonder if this is parking for the... Oh, good. Creepy old building. That's great. Great. Hotel Utica. It's a beautiful building. It's 100 years old. Judy Garland, Mae West, Teddy and Eleanor Roosevelt stayed here. I'm convinced there could be a couple of ghosts. And there are a couple of very unique people haunting the hotel this weekend. Just adding to that fray, the initial production meeting for Terror of Dracula, I'd like to introduce the man of the hour, Bill Bossert. Bill Bossert. No, you're not Bill Bossert. You're Steve Heron. No, Steve, bring the... everyone's a joker. Bill Bossert is the...
Good evening, folks.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. That was good. Good evening was good. That was appropriate.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Would be more appropriate.
No, we're not allowed to do Lugosi. We can't do Lugosi.
No, we can't do Lugosi.
We're doing
Sorry.
something more legit.
Count Dracula you can do, but not Lugosi.
Actually, I thought I would play Dracula like the Count from Sesame Street. One, the books of a woman.
Well,
No.
I was going to say he probably has more range than you.
And
But we digress.
Yes, we digress. We absolutely do. Bill is a listener of the Horror Etc. podcast, and we exchanged a few emails. To make a long story short, Bill stepped in and said, "What would you like to do as your next project?" And I said, I really want to do a Dracula. And a couple of emails later, he made an offer and said, "Well, why don't we do it?" And which blew my mind. And we've talked about this for months now. We've developed a script together. I was wrapping up Sherlock Holmes, and here we are, the very first meet and greet. And Bill, I do have to say, and I want this recorded on camera, that not only is it a fantastic experience to be doing Dracula, but it means a hell of a lot to me that somebody who's never actually met me per se, and who's only who was until recently borderline familiar with my work, stepped up and felt comfortable to make it happen. So I applaud you for taking that step, and I apologize in advance for
what you're about to go through.
That's right, Anthony. It's great to be here today, and I'm looking forward to this whole project. And if it wasn't for that fall I had when I hit my head and I lost all sense of reality, this would have never happened. So we have to be thankful for that.
There we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the script. We're going to lock down the draft that Bill and I have worked on, and hopefully by the end of today we will have agreed entirely on the fixed version of Terror of Dracula, and hammer out some of the details. We're going to start shooting soon, and we're going to keep on providing updates to you, so you have to keep checking in the website. And the previously camera-shy Bill now realizes that he's going to become a proverbial face out there as well, so look forward to updates from both of us, and occasionally Steve Heron, too, a director of photography. So this is exciting. The Odyssey begins. You don't have to continue. You can rest for now.
But I must. There's so much that I have to tell. For my own sake, if no one else's. Then you may judge whether I am mad.
No response. Harker raps again only twice, when there is a sharp, loud clank from behind the door as if a latch has been thrown.
That fateful night. The night when all the horror in the world became real to me. In the guise of the man who emerged from his fortress like a wretched spider welcoming its prey into its web.
A further series of latches and bolts are thrown, and the door slowly pulls open.
I now stood face to face with...
Dracula emerges from the shadows of the inner castle. He is very old, slow in movement, yet has a presence which is at once both commanding and threatening. He shines a lamp on Harker.
Count Dracula?
Dracula stares emptily at Harker for a moment, which makes the Englishman uncomfortable. When he eventually speaks, Dracula's voice is at once withered, yet robust. Welcome to my home, Mr. Harker.
It was quite a trek from the Borgo Pass. The fog is heavy, and I am sure I heard...
The sudden sound of wolves howling in the distance.
Wolves howling?
Dracula smiles wickedly. Ah, the children of the night. Such music they make, no. I promise you will see and hear things in this land that you have never seen or heard in England. Come in. Food and a warm fire await you. Dracula extends his hand, beckoning Harker inside. Jonathan is apprehensive, but enters the shadows beyond the
Harker
doorway.
in the foreground.
Right.
From over the shoulder.
Over the shoulder.
Dracula in the background, and then you tracking
You
the
zoom
camera
in,
as I zoom out,
Okay.
or I zoom out. We'll see which one works best.
Yes.
Which one drives the effect best. But I can pull out while zooming in,
Right.
or I can push the camera in while zooming out.
Because
the two movements have to cross. They can cross either way.
is that going to work in such a tight shot though? Because this is a tight shot.
Yeah.
It's not. You're not talking about Roy Scheider on the beach or in Vertigo looking
Where
down
they've
the
got
steps,
20 feet
and
of-
you've got 100 yards.
But yeah, it's finally feeling like this is happening for me. This is the first time I've ever been involved in any kind of production of a film, even a small one like this. And to sit down with Tony here and go through the script, it's finally feels like this is happening. So it's pretty exciting for me, actually.
And I'm starving.
Yes.
We're going to go eat, but we'll see you in a little bit. Hey, so Bill, tell us about the T-shirt. I think this is quite...
A lovely T-shirt that my lovely wife, Meg, bought me once she realized that I was going to be attached to this horrifying new project.
reproduction of the old Aurora model box for the Dracula model kit.
Actually, those are pretty cool.
Oh,
so.
great stuff. I remember building this kit way back in the day when it was first released, or re-released back in the 70s.
He would be a young British gentleman.
See, I think the biggest flaw with the Coppola film was Keanu Reeves.
Yes, it was.
So I insist.
Because he tried to do an English accent when he probably shouldn't even have tried to do an English accent.
You know, English accents are pretty easy to do. I insist that our English males,
Right.
the English males, need to have good accents. Like Seward Harker will have to have an accent, but we can find that. I'm not worried about anybody who does Shakespeare.
Aren't we at the point, though, where we don't need to have accents in film anymore? Is that necessary? We know it takes place in Great Britain. We know these people are English. Is it really necessary to have that?
I would say yes, because yes, if the default language of the film it pertains to the nationality as well. So it takes place in England, but they speak English in England. So let's get the British accent. So this has been the Utica Summit. It was going to be the Syracuse Summit.
Yes, it was.
But you know, I'm kind of happy that we actually did Utica, and I mean, an amazing meal, an amazing time, making new friends. The three of us have got along very well.
Absolutely.
Most importantly, we all share a similar mindset for the Dracula project. We've got a lot of the bugs worked out, a lot of good ideas, and now it has begun. I mean, we've talked about it before. We had the teaser trailer out. We've got some poster art, but now the project is legitimate.
Yes. Now the journey really begins. This is just the first step on the long journey. I know that's a cliche, but that's what this weekend was, the first step.
And you're going to be there for all of the excitement. We're gonna have the camera running as much as we can to keep you updated on the film. There's a lot of interest already in Terror of Dracula, and we look forward to sharing that experience with you. So keep checking back to the website, and most importantly, let people know that this is happening. It's a movement. It's a movement. We're making a film that's very, very close to Stoker's novel, and yet it's doing something very different. And we're doing it. We're doing it with a lot of passion behind it.
Yes.
So it's exciting.
Yes, it is. Passion and a low budget.
And a low budget. So, but it's gonna look great. It's gonna look great. And you know, great memories from Utica. And making new friends.
Yes. Glad to meet you at last.
Yeah, we'll see if you feel the same way in a year.
Yeah, I'm sure I won't. And thanks for tuning in.